a new look, a new network, and the same old shit. Well, I guess 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I'm John Renton with my review of WWE NXT from the All-State Arena, formerly known as Rosemont Horizon in Rosemont, Illinois. Let me know your thoughts on this show in the comments, please. It's the CW Network debut for WWE NXT, and they presented this show that highlighted the stuff I like about NXT and the stuff I hate about NXT, and the reasons why I don't review NXT Weekly that much anymore. And maybe I'll review next week's show, I don't know, but I got some thoughts, so I'm going to jump right on into it. 18,000 seat capacity, and they had around 7,500 people according to WrestleTix, and look, they shot the crowd well, and the crowd that was there made as much noise as possible, even though WWE tried to kill them with the first match, or at least the result of the first match. So, I don't know what that theme was supposed to be. It's not for me. Some people like it, that's fine. So, they shot the crowd well. The crowd was loud. They popped for Shawn Michaels. They sung along, to Sexy Boy. And the nice thing about Shawn Michaels is when he's, looking for talent to bring into WWE, he's able to have one eye on the goddamn current roster and one eye on the, on the future prospects. So, nevertheless, he says, here are some new championships. It's not gold and silver, silver and gold, but silver and black. And Yukon Cornelius, Triple H comes out and they do the Are You Ready thing. To think the two guys that were involved in the curtain call about 28 years ago, or 28 and a half years ago as of now, would be running things. Hard to believe, isn't it? Time is a flat circle. I think that's how I can apply that particular thing here. So, nevertheless, it is also kind of wild. The former Rosemont Horizon, the site of WrestleMania 2, WrestleMania 13, and numerous house shows and TV tapings. It is really cool to still have that building there. That is some great history as far as professional wrestling. So, Julia, my goodness, leave the mask on. I don't care. God, she is an otherworldly, just level of just beauty. And I mean that with absolute respect. She is absolutely fucking captivating. Been killing it in Stardom. With a little bit I've been able to see, she's done a lot of really, really good shit. And, how could a company not want to sign her? Just look at her. And everybody does look at her. There's a mutual that said, that Julia is a level of, attractive that I didn't even know existed. She's just absolutely captivating. Roxanne comes out, getting some boos. She'd been embracing this heel run. So they had Roxanne Perez versus Julia for the NXT Women's Championship. They had that crowd in the palm of their hands right off the bat. That crowd was going to eat everything up. And then, it was nice how, they did some nice wrestling. And Roxanne, for her youth and for her level of experience, based on how young she is, she really has come into her own. You see why people liked her and praised her before she even got to WWE, because she's the prodigy for a goddamn reason. So they kept the pace up. They really did. There's no picture-in-picture because network television. There was an underhook superplex by Julia for a 2 count with a beautiful bridge. God, what a nice bridge. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. How dare you accuse me otherwise. There was an STF. We get a rope break, and then we get pop rocks with Julia rolls to the floor. We get a Northern Lights bomb on the floor. And a near count out, and then Roxanne sneaks around and grabs the title. Don't get me wrong, they were doing other stuff here, but this is really about the finish. She goes to get the championship off of this little pedestal, and then suddenly somebody runs down in a hooded jacket and does a double arm DDT thing into the ground. I'm like, oh great, Moxley attacked her, but no, that actually looked good. And Cora Jade was revealed to be the person under the hood. So yeah, Pop Rocks 1, 2, 3, so okay. I'm just going to say right now, they didn't put the title on Julia when they should have. They could put it on her at Halloween Havoc. They could put it on her at a TV taping. They could even suddenly run a premium live event at the Performance Center in December and put it on her. I don't think Julia is long for NXT. I think right after WrestleMania they're going to call her up. They should fast track her. Unless they're planning on having her just work there for about a year and then show up right after SummerSlam, or just under a year. Roxanne really doesn't need the championship anymore. And I like Cora Jade. I don't understand why Cora Jade gets a lot of hate. I really don't have any issue with Cora Jade. She has been injured a little bit too often. That's not her fault. Sometimes the injury bug bites. But yes, there's history. They were tag team champions, and then Cora Jade turned heel, and they've had all this stuff going on, but they haven't been able to intermingle as much because Cora Jade's been injured, and, you know, Roxanne turning heel, that kind of stuff. I don't mind the idea of them teaming up and maybe eventually feuding, but I'm sorry, Cora Jade feuding for the NXT Women's Championship really doesn't do a lot for me. And I think that Julia as the centerpiece of the women's division would have been better off. And I'm not saying throw Roxanne to the goddamn wolves or throw her off to the side and don't let her be seen until the Rumble. But what are they going to do now? Cora and Roxanne against, you know, Stephanie Vacour and, which I think is how you say it, and Julia at Halloween Havoc. I don't think this was the right decision. I'm not upset at Cora like some other people are. There were some that were being a little bit too vicious from stuff I've seen. And if you like her, you like her. If you don't, you don't. That's fine. I just think this was a mistake, and I think it kind of muted the goddamn crowd. Even though they would pick things back up shortly after, that left a sour taste in them. They were giving them a plate of something really good, and then they just kind of shit all over them at the end. It's kind of proves that Shawn Michaels, much like Triple H, maybe isn't the booking genius that people think he is. But, yeah, they should have put the title on Julia. I'm sorry. I just don't think that worked. I'm sorry. I just don't think it was a good idea. So, Axiom and Frazier are playing the new WWE game because they're facing A-Town Down Under next week. That'll put butts in seats. Evidently not enough because they had to move from a bigger building in St. Louis to a smaller one. Alright, so Punk is talking to Ava, and then Lexis King shows up with a weird hairstyle and a weird beard, and are we sure he's not on the same drugs that his mother Methany was? What the fuck is that? What the hell is going on? So anyway, package on Wesley and Zachary Wentz. So we see Wesley bring a shopping cart full of weapons down. It worked when Bad Bunny did it. But that was also a hotter crowd, a fuller crowd, and it also made more sense. Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, and Jada Parker argue backstage because there's a tag match later. Wesley against Zachary Wentz. It's a street fight. Remember when street fights were about brawling and, you know, grudge and everything and settling something? With the occasional weapon, maybe you bring a chair in, maybe you bring, like, you know, a rope, maybe you bring a chain in. Maybe you just bring something in, some brass knuckles. You bring something in, but you don't make it about the weapons. You make it about the grudge. That's not what they made it about here. Actually, this was like the grudge. This was like the 2020 grudge, in that I hated it. They made me not want to watch a Wesley match. That's pretty goddamn hard to do because I like Wesley. Wesley has been one of the few people I have tried to seek out everything that he has done at NXT, and for the most part, I've been able to keep up. He's good. I'm glad to see that he's been embracing his heel turn. I'm glad he's back from that back injury because I was really worried he was out for a while, if not forever. But they didn't need to have the shopping cart full of weapons. There was a shopping cart being used, a chair pile, a board spot, a coast to coast. This is stupid. This is one of the worst goddamn matches I've seen, in WWE at least, because they should know better. You can use a few weapons, but you can make it personal, and this was just pure unadulterated garbage. I'm sorry. I hated it. We get a trash can stomp, and then Zachary Wentz right over the table. Should have held a cab to get out of there. And then a bunch of chain punches and a stomp through the chair. 1, 2, 3. And CW people, I assume, were in the front row. Yeah, that was shit. That was not a very good end to basically the first hour. Miz TV with Oba Femi and Tony D'Angelo. Oba is a standout, and Oba really seems confident on the mic. I'm done with these talk show segments. I don't care if it's Miz. I don't care who it is. I'm done with these. You can recreate Piper's Pit all you want. It's not going to work. They wetted Tony like crazy until he mentioned that he was, grew up on the streets of Chicago, or fought on the streets of Chicago, or whatever he said. Oba is like, they can't fight for you. Your crew, the people. I am inevitable. I will break you. I must break you. Oba really did shine here, and Tony D'Angelo was focused enough. Unless they're going to push Oba immediately to win the men's championship, keep the NXT North American Championship on. Then Roxanne and Cora are talking backstage, and Cora's like, I kind of like the woman you become. Again, they missed their opportunity on Julia. Like, there are certain moments you need to capture. Again, I have nothing against Cora or Roxanne. Just want to make that clear. Jada Parker and Lola Vice took on Fatal Influence. Fallon Henley and JC Jane, my goodness, and Jasmine Lynx. I guess. I think that Lynx, Nyx. Is it Nyx? I think it's Nyx. I don't know. I don't really pay that much attention. Beyond, it's like I love Fallon. I love JC, but it's like I can only keep up on so much wrestling. But Fallon looks incredible. JC was making the most of any goddamn ring time she got, screaming. Just seeming like she was just frothing at the mouth. It was good shit. There was a double butt bump. Kalani Jordan was on commentary, by the way. Jada did the butt bump. And then there was a miscue where Jada thought that Lola hit her. So Jada went to leave, and then Lola did some kicking. And then got hit with, double, sandwich knees. One strike and the other strike. Got at both ends. I've seen that movie before. 1, 2, 3. And then Fatal Influence was like, we want to take down Kalani Jordan. And Kalani's like, I knew it, but I ain't come alone. Bianca and Jade are here. That's all you're going to get because I'm still dealing with getting over a flu. Don't worry, I'm fine. But, yeah, okay, they have a brawl. We get Jade. There you go. Package on Orton and Javon Evans next week. You're telling me Orton couldn't move more tickets in St. Louis. So, I'm not sure about next week's show. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. It might depend on my interest and how well this review does. So, Delta is coming to NXT. Delta, who apparently works in Australia or worked in Australia, looks good based on what few clips I've seen. Going to take her a while to get there since she's walking, evidently, by this vignette. And Punk comes out, he gets a big pop, but Punk actually came out before they showed the Delta package. And then we get Whoop That Trick Williams against Ethan Page for the NXT Championship. Okay, Punk was the referee. This was fine. I mean, Ethan seems happy in NXT, and I'm glad they're giving him a chance. He's not a world champion, though. I don't care if he only held it for just under 3 months. No. They kept building this idea that Punk was showing favoritism to Trick even though he wasn't. He was being fair and breaking up stuff in the corner and doing correct counts. We get an Ego's Edge through the announcer's table later on. We get a near referee bump, and it looks like Punk kind of maybe inadvertently helped Trick. Help get Trick out of the way. And then Ethan got hit with the trick shot. 1, 2, 3, new champion. That was the same as the old champion. And I know the Trick didn't get pinned in the Heat Wave match, but still. And then Punk hits a GTS as we get confetti and all that stuff. And that's it. That's it. That's your CW debut. Yeah. I'm not saying they could have had this in the Performance Center, but they probably should have maybe run the Now Arena. Might have been a better idea. They would have been able to shoot it a little bit better. Nevertheless, I don't know. It still highlighted some of the issues with NXT. Yeah, it's a weekly show. They really should have put the title on Julia. I don't think that Sean, whoever, I think they overestimated how much faith some fans are going to have in this. Nevertheless, the women's division is stacked, and they also have, some women that, quite frankly, maybe aren't cut out for it yet. Jada Parker took on Roxanne at No Mercy, and I would argue, had a goddamn standout match. It's not that Julia didn't look good here. I don't think that match played to Julia's strengths. I don't think that was a great, that was a great debut for the women's division on the CW. And yes, I know that Julia had a match before, but nevertheless, let me know your thoughts on this show in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm tired, as you can tell. I'm John Rickland. I'll see you soon.